Welcome to the podcast. Thank you so much for tuning in. As you might have noticed, this week's episode is formatted as a bonus episode, and I'm going to tell you why. I have a full-length episode coming for you this week. It's probably going to come out later today or in a day or two. It's going to come out really, really soon. I was about to publish it and set it up to come out on your podcast player so that you can enjoy it, when I realized I needed to bring in my laptop to get the battery replaced and get the fans replaced. You might know where the story is headed. It's a little painful. Anyway, while my laptop was undergoing a routine replacement, which was estimated to take about 45 minutes, things went downhill and I was told that my laptop was going to be held hostage from me for an extended period of time, despite my enormous need to access really important files on my laptop, such as this week's podcast episode. Now, the good news is my laptop is almost back in my hands, and I learned a super valuable life lesson about backing up my files. And you're going to get this week's episode in just a couple of days, but I wanted to drop this update to let you know that this week's episode is going to come out a little later than usual. Now, here's the thing. I don't know about you, but when I'm tuning into my weekly podcasts, I am ready for the episode. I'm ready to get inspired. I'm ready to learn. And I didn't want you to feel that readiness to have this week's episode and miss out on that opportunity. So I am challenging myself to record a rapid, quick fire episode with my 3 best communication tips that have been most helpful to me in my corporate career. So I challenged myself to boil my years of corporate experience, my years working at McKinsey, my years as a coach, my years as an executive, my years as a podcaster. I challenged myself to boil that down to 3 rapid fire things, 3 tips that I feel like made the difference for me in terms of my voice and my verbal communication. And I'm going to share those 3 with you because they kind of changed my life, so I hope that they will change your life. So the 3 tips are, number 1, instead of elevating your communication up, dumb your communication down. When we're sharing our work, when we're sharing slides, when we're leading meetings, when we're sharing ideas with executives, we tend to go to a place in our minds where we think, my audience is fancy, they're very sophisticated, I need to be very sophisticated. So when we're thinking about how we want to explain things and how we want to share our ideas with them, we tend to try to elevate it up and make it fancy and make it sophisticated, when in reality, we actually need to be doing the opposite. We need to be dumbing our content down, because even though our audience is very sophisticated, they want to receive information in a simple way. Even the smartest, most sophisticated human on the planet is going to respond better to something that's explained simply versus something that's explained in a way that's complex. Now, this is really good news because when you dumb down your ideas, they're easier to deliver, they're easier to share because they're simple. So next time you're thinking about how should I structure this meeting, how should I build this slide, how should I explain this to my boss, how should I walk executives through my findings, remember, your job isn't to elevate it up. Your job is to dumb it down and make it as simple as possible. That is tip number 1. Tip number 2, this has saved me on so many occasions. Tip number 2 is for those of you who sometimes feel nervous when you're speaking, and I am one of you. I sometimes feel nervous when I'm speaking, especially if it's a really big group of people or a really new opportunity where people are going to be meeting me for the first time. I will get physically nervous. And my best tip on navigating this is a lot of times when we get nervous, our tendency is to speed up. And one of the best things that you can do is when you notice you're getting nervous, instead of speeding up, try to slow down. Now, this is going to be hard because sometimes when we get nervous, our brain is yelling at us and it's saying, speed up, hurry. Sometimes it's literally saying, run, right? Because our body is going into fight or flight. But as we speed up, that can sometimes make us feel even more nervous. And actually, when we speed up, sometimes our nervousness is more visible to our audience. Whereas when we slow down, not only does that help us de-escalate our own nervousness, but it also conceals some of our nervousness from our audience. And that can be really reassuring to know that if you slow down, you're going to be received as more calm by your audience. Now, there are a few different ways to slow down, but here are some quick examples. One is literally try to slow your pace of speech. Just try to speak slower. Second is try to achieve pauses and breaks. So if you notice you're getting nervous, that's a great moment to turn to your audience and say, I'd love to get your thoughts and reactions to what I just shared. That will give you a moment to slow down internally in your mind. Take a deep breath, remind yourself, it's cool, everything's okay, I totally got this. And that is going to help you start to calm down and keep moving forward. So that is tip number 2, which is when you notice you're getting nervous, instead of speeding up, try to slow down. Tip number 3 is help your audience be the hero. I think this is hands down why I did so good in my corporate career. I just love watching people win. I love it when people are successful. I love it when people reach their goals. I love it when people just feel really happy and accomplished inside. And because I have that love, anytime I would share information with executives, I would always think about what I felt excited about on their behalf. And I would always talk about how the work that I'm sharing, the meeting that I'm running, the data that I'm showing them, I would talk about how it's going to help them achieve their goals, how it's going to help them win, how it's going to help our team further the mission. Because I was just naturally excited about impact and teamwork and about helping the leaders around me achieve things that they felt really proud of. And what I learned is that when you do that, you become really compelling to your audience. When you talk about what they care most, when you show them how they're going to succeed, how they're going to win, how they're going to be the hero in the situation, they become really interested in what you're sharing. It starts to really land in a powerful place in their minds and hearts. And they start to really think of you very favorably because they're associating you with their own success. And when they associate you with their own success, they're going to feel really compelled to listen to you, to partner with you, and to support you. So this was a rapid fire episode, but my 3 tips for you in today's episode are: tip number 1, instead of trying to elevate your communication upwards, try to dumb it downwards and make it more simple. Number 2, if you feel nervous when you're speaking, instead of speeding up, try your best to slow down. It's going to help you a lot. And number 3, when you're sharing things with your audience, focus on how it's going to benefit them and focus on how it's going to help them win. I hope you found this rapid fire style episode helpful. Thank you so much for being patient with me as I have a delay in my publishing schedule for the first time ever in over 5 years of hosting this podcast. But please make sure to tune into this week's regular episode because in it, I'm going to be announcing an open enrollment for my group program, the Art of Speaking Up Academy. I'm so freaking pumped about this. I can't wait for you to hear it. And I will catch you soon in this week's episode. It's going to come quickly. Bye.